not gonna let him get my family. What is up, quick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the brand new Rambo film, that is Rambo Last Blood. I need you in the comments section below. Were you looking forward to this movie? Did it deliver? Let's talk about it. So Rambo must confront his past and unearth his ruthless combat skills to exact revenge on a final mission. Just to dive in a bit about the Rambo franchise, went back this last week and watched all of the movies to get myself prepped for what this final movie was going to be. And you know what? I like this franchise even more than I thought I did, because before I'm like, it's a guilty pleasure because the first one's great and the other ones are just, you like them because it's a lot of action. It's Rambo doing Rambo things. But going back and watching the other movies, I genuinely enjoyed myself. No, some of the sequels aren't the best films ever, but they at least have the sense of fun about them that makes them kind of stand out from the crowded genre of action films, especially in the 80s. When I think 80s action movies, I think Rambo, and when I think of what that first one actually meant, and to me, the first is still the best. Not to spoil what my ranking is going to be when I put my video out on Saturday, but it is the best in terms of quality, and the layers to the character are explored to, I think, a degree that the other films have not captured. But what I love about the other movies compared to the first film is that they know what they are. They are pure action movies. They don't really care about story or plot, especially the second one. And then even the 2008 Rambo, I went back and I watched it, and I had a lot of fun, man, because Rambo is doing Rambo things throughout mostly the third act, but really throughout the entire film, and it's entertaining because they set aside what needs to be set aside, and they focus on what's important. With this movie, my biggest fear going in was the fact that they would focus way more on plot than they would action, and sadly, that's what ends up happening. Now, if the plot delivers, and if it's intriguing and not something that we've seen thousands of times before, then I'm not going to mind it, right? But with this one, it feels immensely like what Taken was for the first two acts. It's a Taken mixed with a bit of a Narcos. You're focusing on the Mexican cartel and how they're the baddest of the bads, and Rambo has to go and take them out because of something that happens. I did buy the character arc where he starts at the beginning of First Blood, and I love the fact that this is called Last Blood because it's obvious that his character is going to end up in this situation. He's kind of put down the gloves. No, it's not Rocky, it's Rambo, but he has retired from being the character that we knew from the previous movies. Now, he is still out to save people, and we see an example of that at the beginning of this film. Where this movie lost me for a bit was the fact that they were just giving us this cliched and conventional story that they tried their best to build up, but it was just so familiar and I hate to say it like this, poorly executed for the first two acts. I wasn't really loving what I was getting. Every time Stallone was on screen, I was digging it because this was the Rambo that I knew and loved. Nothing has changed about this character, but the shell of the film that he was in until we get to the action scene, which is just... if you're a Rambo fan, look, I'll admit, even though I didn't love this movie as a whole, the final 20 minutes of this film is everything I think Rambo fans are going to want. And if you get the joy and fulfillment that I expect a lot of you to get out of these final 20 minutes, then you're not going to care if the rest of the movie delivers. And if the rest of the movie does deliver for you, then you're going to be loving this. You are going to have the time of your life. So I'm not saying don't pay attention to what critics are saying, but this is a movie that I believe is made specifically, especially the third act, for Rambo fans, and I think that's what Rambo fans are going to get out of this. Would I have wanted the rest of the movie to work for me? Absolutely, and at the end of the day, I was a bit let down by the entire experience, but I am proclaiming to the world that these final 20 minutes, the action hits harder than maybe any other action scene in this franchise. And when I say hit harder, it's even filmed in a way to where you feel the punches and the other bloody things happening, and I was loving it. I was loving every second of it. I enjoyed the build-up to that specific scene, and as soon as an emotional thing happens, not going to say what it is in this film, that's when it started to turn for me, because I felt what Stallone's character was feeling, and at that point, I was in on the movie. My big issue is it took me so long to get there. I have to say I was a bit let down, and I've seen a lot of complaints of, it's too over the top and violent, and it's a bad sign of things to come for it's just sitting back going, it's Rambo! I like how they tried to give him the layers that you need to resonate with him in that final act, because there is a very emotional scene in this film, and that was kind of the turning point for me, right? If you enjoyed the movie up until that point, you're going to freaking love the entire thing. If you had your qualms with the first two acts, then it's all going to come down to how satisfying was that third act. And that's kind of the internal struggle that I'm dealing with right now. Did I love this third act enough to get it to a fresh score? Because let's face it, it's not all that fresh of a film, of a movie. But for Rambo fans, I mean, for what it is, it kind of delivers on exactly what you want. It kind of barrels through the first two acts to get to that third act that will inevitably satisfy fans. So me giving it a 60% is not me saying it's the best movie I've seen all year, because frankly, it's not really all that good of a movie, but it is entertaining enough, and it does exactly what a Rambo film sets out to do. While a bit underwhelming because I wanted more satisfying of a story, I have to sit back and tell you guys that I had a pretty good time with it. I mean, it's only 90 minutes. It was a brisk watch. You got Rambo being Rambo with a nice character arc, and Stallone, as always, is really good. So yeah, I'm gonna go 60. I mean, I'm probably higher than other critics, so apologies if you hated everything about this movie, but as someone who enjoys the Rambo franchise, getting something like this in 2019, I mean, kind of refreshing, and I had a bit of fun with it, but it all comes down to how much fun did you have with this movie? Did it underwhelm you to a point to where you're just completely frustrated, or did you just love it? Once again, I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, and how does this compare to the other Rambo films. I will be doing my Rambo movies ranked on Saturday morning. First, I have a few reviews to get through tomorrow because a lot of stuff is dropping. We have Ad Astra, we have Between Two Ferns movie on Netflix with Zach Galifianakis, and then we can get to my Rambo movies ranked. Thank you guys once again for watching, and I'll see you very soon.